Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I will have guests on from the LaGrange Police Department and also a guest on from the Up All Night Christmas Dinner. So stay tuned for those interviews coming up in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm sitting down with one of our LaGrange finest from the LaGrange Police Department. Today my guest is Detective Andrea Scott. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, this is my first time having an opportunity to sit down with you. So I want to just open up by getting you to tell me a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
All right. My name's Detective Andrea Scott. I work for the City of LaGrange Police Department. I've been in law enforcement 12 years and with the PD about 10. Altogether, I've worked all kinds of crimes, general crimes, special victims, and financial crimes currently. Okay, financial crimes currently. And I think, you know, as we were talking before we came on the air, you was telling you've been in an investigator for a long period of time, and I think you did have some opportunity to do some child abuse cases as well, right? That is correct.
Talk about that just a little bit, if you don't mind.
I did special victims crime, which includes child cases, cases against women and children, and also cases against the elderly. And I did that for about 6 years. And it's very tedious work, but definitely a needed position.
Absolutely. You know, years and years ago, I didn't tell you, but I started out in law enforcement back in 1988.
Oh, yeah.
And at that time, Barbara Price, I don't know if you've heard her name mentioned or not, but she was the child abuse officer at that time. And you always hear the kids say, "Oh, I'm gonna call Barbara Price on you." You know?
I actually am working a case now where I've had to pull up a case from 1985 that she worked. So,
she worked,
yeah.
okay. All right, well, very good. Now today, Detective, you're in financial crimes and been in that position for about 4 years now, you
Correct.
say. Talk a little bit about what that entails when we talk about financial crimes.
When we talk about financial crimes, we're talking anything from bad checks to financial transaction card fraud, to identity fraud, any type of identity fraud, mail scams, and counterfeit money.
Okay, all right. And I think we want to talk a little bit more about counterfeit money, and especially now that, you know, people are out doing Christmas shopping, maybe shopping for the New Year's and things of that nature. Identity theft. A lot of us nowadays, I know myself, we use our debit card. Do you see that being kind of a frequent thing where people are stealing pins and stuff of that nature?
What we see a lot with debit cards is, say you go to the gas station and you use your card to get gas. There'll be a reader or skimmer in the gas pump that you don't know about, and it takes all of that information. People can then take that information, and after they get 1,000, sell them to somebody in New York, so it's nobody local, and then they can print up a card with your number on it, with a different number on the front with their name on it, so they can be swiping your card anywhere in the country, and it comes back to your bank account.
Oh my!
That's what we see a lot with debit cards. Not so much with the PIN, but with the credit.
With the credit. So, all right, very good. Okay, and you know, these are just things that, you know, we just want our citizens to be informed and to be aware about, to making sure that, you know, when you go there, because I notice a lot of times talking about the debit cards, and particularly at the gas pumps,
right? You
know, they ask you if it's a debit or a credit, and I think a lot of time if you put credit, and then they just put your zip code in there and not have to necessarily utilize the PIN.
Right, that's correct.
Okay.
You also see a lot of times fast food restaurants and things, you'll see kids taking pictures of people's debit cards with their cell phones and storing that information for later.
Oh my.
And that's why the new security chip that's come out in the cards are changing that code, that the security code that's on the back. Every time you use it, it's changing it. So that's just one safety measure that they're trying to come out with to combat that.
Okay, very good. I know a lot of places have been asking, because I don't have any cards that have the chip in it presently, and then they'll, you know, you go to them and they'll say, "Well, you got the chip," and I'm like, "No, I don't. It's just the old-fashioned way."
It's coming. It's coming. I just got mine about 2 weeks ago. Okay. So my very first card that has the chip in it, my bank card. So it'll probably be getting one soon.
Pretty soon. Well, let's talk about, because we know cash is king, and there are a number of people that perhaps still utilize the cash transactions when they're doing various things. You're talking a little bit about counterfeiting money. Talk about, I want to talk first of all about talking about the law as far as it relates to counterfeit money, if you don't mind.
Okay. When it comes to counterfeit, we have a couple of laws. Georgia law is very vague. There's not actually one that says counterfeit money as the title, but it does fall under the title of forgery, and that's any document that is supposed to be or purported to be made by somebody else. So
Okay.
If you are in possession of counterfeit money, it is forgery in the second degree.
Okay.
If you pass counterfeit money, any type of counterfeit money, any denomination of counterfeit money, and pass it along to a business or whatever, that is forgery in the first degree,
Okay.
which both are felonies.
Okay. And you will and can be charged and taken to jail and
You can.
booked and all those things, right? Okay. Now, and I know that you have some examples of some monies that I think that you have had circulate here in our communities. Let me first of all, do you think these? And I heard you mention earlier, it goes out to another state and may come back in. Is that how you feel like it's getting into our communities, or what do you think is how it's getting here?
Right now we're seeing two different types of counterfeit money. We're seeing counterfeit money that doesn't actually really look like it. It says for motion picture use only, or it's got a Chinese stamp on it. These you can buy over the internet. You can buy them, I think I've seen them as cheap as $4 or $5 for 100 bills and come in. Those are not a crime to possess those if you're using them to play money and those kind of things. If you actually pass those, that's when it becomes a crime. The other ones are regular counterfeits. We see these every year. We just doesn't have as many this year. I'm thinking probably around 90 to 100 reports just this year already, when usually it's not near that many.
Okay.
And these bills, I think, come from somewhere different. I have not had an encounter of anybody making it here in the city, so probably coming in from the bigger cities such as Atlanta or Columbus. But it's not impossible if you have a good printer and the paper to make it.
Okay. And I was looking at one of the one that you showed prior to us coming on, and it states there clearly on the front for promotional use only, right? Now, do you think a lot of the time, like, you work at a fast food place or a convenience store, and someone came in and handed you that, what is the responsibility of the cashier?
The cashier should recognize it first, slow down, take their time, recognize the money, and immediately call the police.
Okay.
If it is a legitimate mistake, the people usually wait for the police to get there.
Okay.
If it is somebody doing it and knowing that they're doing it, they usually will leave before the police get there and just leave the money behind. That's when you kind of have an idea that they know.
Okay.
But yeah, the cashiers and all, anytime any counterfeit money is discovered, they should call police immediately so that we can come and get the bill or collect the surveillance or whatever.
Okay. And the one that you have there on the top, the other $100 bill, I mean, just if you did not pay close attention to that one, it could be easily passed off. What are some of the, I guess, tips of recognition that people need to be aware of?
Always feel the money. The counterfeit money feels different. We all know that real currency is made on a cotton blend, and counterfeit is made on a paper. They have the counterfeit pens now that they mark. You'll see people mark bills. What that counterfeit pen does is it's detecting the starch in the paper. So real money with the cotton blend doesn't have a starch, whereas counterfeit money printed on paper is held together with wood, and so it's looking for the starch.
Okay.
So that's not always a good thing, though, because sometimes the 1950s and 60s bills will mark counterfeit even though they're not. So you really have to know what you're looking for.
Okay.
There's not many of those left in circulation, so we don't get many in. But always feel at it, look at it. There's a whole lot of security features on the new money. As far as, the face in the corner, if you hold it up to the light, the texture, if you scratch the bill, it should have raised edges, the holograph in there, those kind of things.
Okay. And a lot of times, not that I have any $100 bills that I'm walking around with, and like you say, you normally see them hold it up to the light, and once upon a time they used to have the marker. And I've heard, and you can correct me if I'm incorrect, I think there's a band that runs in the actual original correct bills, right? Right,
and I believe it's 2004 and above, or 2004 to now. The older bills do not have that in there. So yeah, but there is a band that it glows a different color when put under a black light, and it also tells you what denomination the bill is. So we have seen cases where they'll take a real $5 bill, bleach it out, and then reprint like 100 on it. So you hold it up, you glance, you see the face in it, you see the strip, but unless you're actually looking to where it says 5 USA instead of 100, then then you would never know.
Never know. Okay. Now, and I'm just going to be the devil's advocate
Go
here.
ahead.
I went to a location. I used cash, and the merchant gave me back counterfeit money, and I didn't realize it until I got home later. What's my recourse?
Well, you should always call the police and let them come out and examine the money,
Okay.
To make sure that it is counterfeit. Then we would take it in and do an investigation, but you could contact the store, but 90% of the time they're probably not going to know that they gave it to you or be
Okay.
willing to replace that money.
Okay.
But when you make the report with the police department, what we do is we look to see. So if we have 10 people that have gotten it back changed from one particular store, then we know to start looking at that store to see if it's being filtered through that store, those kind of things. And then we get to, when you do get it and you do come in contact with it and we get it, we send it all to the Secret Service and we all enter a database. So we try to keep up with the serial numbers and those things to try to match where some of it's coming from, who's getting it, and how it's getting circulated.
Okay, very good. All very good information, especially as we again, Christmas shopping, first of the year shopping, and those that may use cash. We just got to be aware, as you stated, take time, stop, look it over, examine it, make sure that we're not receiving any counterfeit money.
Right.
And definitely don't want to be passing off any.
No,
Absolutely.
definitely not.
Let me ask you now, Detective, I know that, a lot of people, may be sitting and watching this show and may want to ask questions about what you're talking about here. Is there a website that they could go to kind of get more information about what you're talking about? Or do you have a contact number where they may be able to reach you?
Right. Well, we have two detectives in our financial unit. That's myself and Detective Ligon. We work for the City of LaGrange. You can call 706-883-2603, which that's our regular number, and they will get us through to either one.
Okay.
Also, there is a pamphlet that you can get and download from the Secret Service. It's www.secretservice.gov. Go into there and look for Know Your Money, and it tells you every security feature on the new bills, what to look for in the older bills, and everything like that. Also, if you're a business or you know somebody that would like, I can come to their business and do a presentation. I've done some for bigger places like Walmart and some banks and things like that, just kind of teaching them the difference and showing them what kind of money we're seeing here in the city, to be on the lookout. So if you're interested in that, you can always contact us at the LaGrange Police Department. Okay.
Well, it's a pleasure to sit down with you, and it definitely gives us something to think about. And I want to thank you very much for being on the show today, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back, City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm sitting down with Mr. Jimmy Edwards with the Up All Night Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. Jimmy, welcome to the show again.
Oh, well, thank you. Look like I'm absolutely going to be just a normal person right here now.
You're going to be a regular guest, Jimmy. Okay. Well, you know what? Philip and Keith, they're looking for another host now. They've been looking for about 12, 13 years. I'm gonna let you put your application out there, okay? All right. Well, no, it is a pleasure to sit down with you again, Jimmy. And first of all, I want to just say thank you all. I don't want to start naming names because I know I'll leave out some. I know it started with Mr. Frank Cox and Jake Sessions, and you've taken it on now for the wonderful job that you all are doing in our community as it relates to helping those in need during the Thanksgiving and Christmas time. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. It's just a wonderful thing to do.
It really is. And I've been a part of that myself too, Jimmy, for a number of years. And it is a joy to be able to come out and to provide a service to someone. Not only a service, but to provide a warm meal too to someone that is in need of it. Let me ask you, Jimmy, how and why did you get involved with this, if you don't mind?
Well, I got involved in this a long time ago, and absolutely the reason I got involved in this, and I was actually one of the spearheads from Atlanta, Georgia, with Jose Williams, and it's just been a compassion to my heart to just, God just put on me to just learn to help someone else that's less fortunate than I am, and it just make me feel good when I can prepare food or feed someone or do someone a generous thing. It's just in me.
Okay.
That's what I've been, and I loved it. When I come from Atlanta, I seen Jake doing it, and I just jumped on board.
Well, we do thank you once again, because definitely, and I know that the individuals that come out and those that, and we're going to talk about the routes a little bit, but those that get the meals, and I've eaten the meals there myself, to be quite honest, and it's a great thing to be able to sit down and to fellowship and to meet new people, the volunteers that come out. Give us a little update, because a few weeks ago you guys did the Thanksgiving. Give us an update on that.
Yeah, a few weeks ago we did the Thanksgiving dinner, and it was a successful thing, and we actually, and I told them, and actually me being the person that actually the liaison person, I don't like to do numbers. I don't like the numbers, because I would feel once you numbers, you get kind of into numbers. But our number was we post shooting at 700. We did 800. Okay. We did 800 meals. Okay. And wonderful, successful. And I mean, we had lots of food, and it was just Thanksgiving was Thanksgiving, and we had some people to come over and fellowship and sit down and talk. It was just community came out. It came out, and it's always right on time.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. It's
we live in. I say this all the time to our guests. Whenever there's a need in our community, the community shows up in numbers to volunteer. With donations monetarily or toys or whatever the case may be. And that's one of the things that I've really known about and learned about this community, is a very, very caring community and concerned community.
It truly really is. As being a person of interest, oh man, it's just the heart of this LaGrange, Georgia is come out. It really do. It really does. And when you see it, I tell people you can hear it, but when you see it and feel it for yourself,
that's right.
I'm telling you,
it's real.
It's real. It's really real.
Well, in talking about that, I know that we are a few days away from Christmas.
A few days away from Christmas.
And so I know that you guys are looking and needing volunteers, and we need this generosity to continue to flow. And this year Christmas is on Sunday.
Oh yes, we're so happy. He said we said early, Christmas is going to fall on Sunday, and we actually, we do our meal exactly on the days that we absolutely does it. So happening this year, it falls on Sunday.
Okay.
So most likely, we gonna be asking for people doing volunteer, but we know church days, they're gonna have watch night. It's gonna be mighty kind of really a little slow for us, but we through it all, we're gonna get through it.
Absolutely,
we get
absolutely. And you said 800 meals that you guys served during the Thanksgiving dinner. You probably about that many. You think again, talking about that. Yeah, and talking about you probably be about the same.
Probably. This year, maybe this year for Christmas, maybe a little more.
Okay.
Maybe a little more.
All right.
A little bit more, because I got letters and people call me. I'm adding a little bit more people onto the list.
Okay.
And it like in a rural area, I'm adding a little more onto the list, because this year we may be like 1,000.
Okay. So
we're going to be at 1,000 right now.
Because I can remember back in the days when I was in, and we definitely, reached that 1,000 mark and exceeded it in some cases.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
Things that you all need, pretty much the same as for Thanksgiving.
It pretty much thing, and absolutely pretty much thing what we need: turkey, hams, dressing, and anything for we take from Thanksgiving over to Christmas.
Okay.
So it's just actually the same route, and whatever you can do is the same route. It ain't changed.
It ain't changed. That's right. When it ain't broke, you don't try to fix it, right?
That's it.
Well, and I came out this year for the Thanksgiving, Jimmy, and I got a little bit late, I have to say.
Yeah.
I got there, and you guys were almost done when I got there. Talk about how it has changed, because I think your deliverers got there a lot early. Talk about that.
But here's the process in it. We are actually in a new leadership. It's in a little new leadership. It's nothing changed. It's just a new leadership. And I am the new leadership is trying to make sure that our delivery go out a little quicker. So what we do, we prepare the meal days before, like 3 days before. We prepare it. We don't cook it now. We prepare it 3 days before, and absolutely that day we absolutely come in, we warm it up, we do it up, and we absolutely are ahead of ourselves. That's actually what we do. We get ahead of ourselves when we prepare the meal 3 days before, and we do it all, come back that Christmas and do. So that's what got us a little bit jump.
Absolutely. Because I got there and I'm like, I'm seeing people moving around and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, what do I need to do? And you were like, oh, we're almost done.
Like, we're almost done.
You know, and I know that the recipients of the meals really appreciate because, like I said, by 11:30, you guys had all your deliveries out, so people can have their lunch meal, and then they got the rest of the day to do with and be with their families and friends. So you anticipate that happening again this year?
I'm going to meet with my team on Thursday, and we participate in that happen again. Why I say that? Because I have majority of the people whom we deliver here, we have delivered to homebound, and they get up like 8, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, and they look for that meal. They look for it. So by 9 o'clock, they looking for that meal to knock on their door. So we try to make sure we meet that quota. If they are there at 9, they get up at 9, and they looking at us, and we want somebody knocking on their door. So here, we got your meal. So that's what we shooting for. We're gonna do it the same way. We're gonna do it the same way.
Very good, very good. And and I came out and the routes. I heard you mentioning homebound, and I think some of the church sick and shut in lists you all deliver to as well. Talk about who.
Yes, the list that I have is come from First Baptist Church, and they have a Meals on Wheels list, and I absolutely take that list and I critique that list to there. They do not feed on special days, and if special days are holiday, so I take that list and we deliver for them. And if anybody else is needed on that list or not on that list, you just call me and we will put you on the route. That if you stay on Greenville Street, you don't have to come to Cannon Street to get a meal, because we have people that deliver it to you. Because I had Miss Davis stay on Greenville Street, and she's 68 years old, and she got her grandkids and everything else, and she came over one year and she wanted 10 meals, and here she was 68 years old and got 10 meals, and I can't have that. So I told her, Miss Davis, you won't have to come this way no more. She said, why? She said, no, you don't, because you're 68 years old. I'm going to have them deliver to your location. And every time I deliver to them, she said, well, Jimmy, guess what? I got them. Me and my grandchildren, they love when we sit down. So that's the key thing. If you are homebound and you can't, call me. We will get it to you. Because 68 years old, coming across that highway and coming down through there, it's kind of a little difficult. So we try to make it smooth for her.
Absolutely. And I know they, like you say, I know they greatly appreciate that. And I've been on both sides of it, Jim. I've delivered meals in the past. I've been in there trying to help cook.
You sure have.
And I have eaten too. So I've been on all ends of the spectrum. Absolutely. And it is a joy when you go there to the home and you deliver them a meal, and they're there waiting for it, and they can sit down with their family and enjoy just like the rest of us.
Yes, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So.
Absolutely. So and then this year, and I had a call from one of your cooks there too. That I think there were some things there in the kitchen that we got to get taken care of so that we won't have that issue for Christmas.
Yes.
But all in all, I think things went very well, and it's just a testimony to you and the staff. Again, I won't start naming names. I'll leave out folks, but we do again appreciate what you do, Jimmy, and, along with all the others in our community. And at this time, I want to take an opportunity to present to you from my organization a check for funding to help with the Up All Night for the Christmas dinner.
Thank you so much, and we'll make sure this absolutely do. It's gonna go, and we're gonna get us some turkeys and dressing and everything else. And I would say we really do appreciate Alton, because Alton have absolutely done a lot for the Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner, and being that person there, because when he came in. And I'm going to tell you something else, what really gets me when I look at things and being a person of interest, when you come, you captivated people. And there was a young man there, and everybody was concerned about the young man that was there. But when he got there, he was one of the interesting people, but he fit right in. He didn't look the color, didn't dress the color, but after a while, he was the color.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so different. We don't turn no coats from anybody. Our little staff that I have, we don't turn coats. We help everybody.
That's
and
right.
that individual one, he just sparkled. He just really sparkled.
And I think I know the individual you're talking about.
Yes, and I hopefully he can come back again this year.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
So.
Well, Jim, it is a pleasure to sit down with you. We're looking forward to the public coming out to volunteer, to deliver, to help prepare the meals for Christmas that it falls this year, ladies and gentlemen, December the 25th on Sunday. So we do need you to come on out. I know that that's church service day, and I'm going to try to make service, and I'm also going to be down to help out.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, once again, thank you all very much. Okay?
And thank you all so much for having me, and hopefully I come back next year with the same report that's going to look big. Okay?
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us City Week this week. My guests have been from the LaGrange Police Department, Detective Andrea Scott, and she talked about being aware of counterfeit bills that are circulating here in our community. And if you have additional questions or information that you need to get from her, give her a call or go by the police department, and I'm sure she'd be more than happy to accommodate you. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I had on from the Up All Night Christmas Dinner, Mr. Jimmy Edwards, as he talked about the success of the Thanksgiving dinner, and he know the successful Christmas dinner because he know that the public will come out and help make it a success. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed these interviews. And as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week. And I also want to wish all of my viewing audience a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.